right, great, thank you. So good evening, everyone. I'm going to call our August 17th meeting to order at 6:30 PM. We are announcing that this is being recorded for Groveland Government Television, and I need to ask if anyone else in the room is either audio or video recording this meeting. I'll look at the audience. And it's a no. Thank you for confirming. So please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, for public comment, were there any public comment? Nothing submitted. And then for department comment or update, nothing submitted? Okay, excellent. We'll get right into discussion and possible vote. So first up, we have a special event permit, the Groveland Historical Society Pine Speedway Reunion, permit number 2027-SP01. Request from the Groveland Historical Society for a special event permit to host the Pine Speedway Reunion at the Pines Recreation Area on October 3rd, 2026. The town administrator has provided the special event application for us to review and approve.
I'll move for passage.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? None? All right, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? Yes. 4 in favor, 1 absent. Next up, we have a one-day liquor license, Groveland Day Cornhole Pickleball Tournament. Approval of a one-day liquor license for Lisa Chandler to serve alcohol at the Pines Recreation Area on September 11th, 2026, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the Groveland Day Cornhole Pickleball Tournament. The town administrator has included the completed one-day liquor license application as well as the certificate of liability insurance.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All right, any further discussion on that?
Yes.
Yep.
It says, here that they'll provide copies of the tip certification, and I don't see any of that. A copy of server training certificate of people who serve liquor. I don't see that included in the paperwork yet.
So that would fall under the bartending services, so we can ensure that that paperwork has been submitted. I'm fairly certain that it has, but we will definitely confirm. So if you want to place a contingency on the vote pending the receipt of such paperwork, that would be advised.
So I'll make a motion to approve the one-day liquor license application pending receipt of the tip certification paperwork.
Okay.
Second.
All right, any further discussion on that? None? All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Next up, we have Groveland Day participation. So this is just discuss a rotating select board presence at the town of Groveland tent during Groveland Day on Saturday, September 12th. It runs from 10 to 3. This initiative supports the select board's goal of strengthening public communication, transparency, and resident engagement by providing residents with an opportunity to connect directly with members throughout the event. This was something that I had thought of as a great opportunity for select board members to, a couple of reasons. One, to help, it's usually just the town administrator, I believe the town clerk, it's the executive assistant as well too, but to have, and Jason, you're usually there, which is great. Just want to lighten that load a little bit and maybe see who else could possibly, who would be around to participate in that, given that it's 10 to 3, making sure there's no more than 2 of us there at a time. I think this is a schedule that we could work out with the town administrator as far as like signing up for a shift or 2. I will be available, so I can help. Jason, if you want to be there that entire time, I won't stop you.
I'll
Yeah.
be there pretty
You'll-
much all day, so I'm
you-
happy to
Okay,
hang out for
okay.
a couple hours at some point.
Ed, would you be available for Groveland Day?
I'm not sure. I won't know till the 31st of
Okay.
this month.
Okay.
What my schedule is.
Excellent. The other thought behind that too is that I know the way it's set up, there'll be some literature, some information, some things that are going on, but a way to maybe get some interactive community input, to put some kind of poll, what town issue is most important to you right now. This was something Rebecca had thought of, which I thought was great. It could be jars that people put beans in it or something, when we trash recycling, which is a hot topic this year. Communication methods, road and pedestrian safety, economic development, parks. Another way to engage residents is that would focus on community pride. What is your favorite Groveland treasure? So VZ Park, the Pines, Johnson's Pond, community events. I think having something like this is a way to potentially prompt conversation, but also might be a different way for us to survey residents. Because I think we do send out surveys. We get a lot of feedback depending on the subject. I think we get a pulse sometimes from social media, whether it be good or bad or in the middle, or even just through groups that we interact with. But I think having something like this might be a great venue to do something like this, be a little creative.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think it'd be great. I think instead of the beans, it would be nice just to have a little strip of paper they could write a comment on.
Okay.
Because that way there, you'd actually get some really good feedback.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we did something, when I was on the rec committee a few years ago, we did something similar when we had a table at Groveland Day, and we basically had like a 3-question survey, and we actually got some really valuable data out of it. So I think, we don't have to do a survey, I think
Yeah.
just a piece of paper is a great idea, but I think soliciting feedback that way is a great way to go.
Okay. And do you think sticking with I don't like to use the word issue, but I just saying town issue that's most important to people right now? Did you want another one, like I said, was your favorite part of Groveland? It's a little spin on both things, like one is very serious and then one is a little bit more fun. But, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we could, maybe depending upon how much time we want to spend on it, I mean, you could just have like 2 or 3 issues listed out and ask people to rank them 1 to 5, and then have
Right.
an open comment section on a forum.
Okay. Rebecca was very excited to help out. She said, whatever you want.
I like leaving the paper blank just because they'll write down something. It might be something we didn't think about.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Do you need help coordinating that? You're good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds great.
great. So then we'll figure out a way to, we'll just email you to figure out a schedule on what we'll sign up for.
Okay.
Again, I know you'll set up with Annie and break down afterward, but we'll definitely be there to man the tent, so thank you. That was easy. Next up, review of updated land management agreement. This is with the Massachusetts Office of Fishing and Boating Access for the Pines Recreation Area. So the town administrator has provided a proposed land management agreement for the Merrimack River Public Access Boat Ramp at the Pines Recreation Area. The updated agreement reflects the new floating dock system and includes a proposed 2-year trial fee structure. So we're here to review the proposal, consider how we're going to move forward with it. And Rebecca, I'll let you fill in the blanks if I missed anything there.
Of course, it pretty much covers it. For those of you that remember, we were approached by the Office of Fishing and Boating Access about 2 potential locations here in Groveland, one of which was the Pines Recreation Area, and the other was on Johnson's Pond near the old drinking water facility that Havel currently owns that is not in operation. So we had talked about putting a fishing pier on that side of the lake and, the pond, and then we had also talked about enhancing the current system that we have down at the Pines, and it was Select Board Member Neves that had brought forward the fact that the dock system that was installed is not robust enough to handle the currents of the river, and therefore would like to see whether or not that could also be included as part of the maintenance and operations and some financial assistance from the state in regards to updating those. So in communicating with the office, they said that wouldn't be a problem. So they had updated the agreement to reflect such. And at the last meeting, we had talked a little bit about the fact that our fee structure does call out Groveland residents versus non-Groveland residents. And if we were to move forward, how that would not necessarily be applicable. The state does allow for non-residents, but they mean state. So if you're in New Hampshire, you could be charged more, up to, I believe it said 3 times. But if you were a Merrimack resident and you wanted to purchase it in Groveland, you would have to pay the same as you were if you were a Groveland resident. You couldn't differentiate. The one thing that they did call out is that we also have a mooring field over at the boat ramp, and that would not be included. So those fees would be able to be kept as they are. So as you can see in the analysis, we took a closer look at whether or not that would have any monetary impact on our current operation. And we also took into consideration what we're currently paying for expenditures, such as our agreement with Mariana's for the placement of the docks in and out for the winter, the price of the electricity, and some of the other items. So with the reduction in the revenue from those that are not residents, we would only be losing about $1,200 worth of revenue, which is would not make an impact on the overall expenditures that we have to pay annually. So we would still be making a profit in the revolving account if there was something unforeseen. And again, as you'll see in the agreement, we had talked about the fact that this would be a 2-year trial period. So if we found that there were additional expenses that we needed or things were required us to be more involved, we would be able to talk with the state about increasing those fees. So they had agreed on a temporary basis to the fees that are outlined in the memo that was provided to you and displayed on the screen. You'll see that they're relatively the same as what we currently have in place, so we're not looking to increase fees. You will see that there's some additional fees that we currently don't offer. We don't have a commercial daily or commercial seasonal, so those would be new. We also don't have a residential daily pass, so that is something also new. It is something that people have asked about from an administrative standpoint. We would need to work out the logistics of that. So say you wanted to go and use it for Saturday, but we're closed on Saturday, you would need to make prior arrangements to get a key or some type of access on Friday or earlier in the week. So that's something that we would need to work out some of the logistics. So again, these are the fees that had been reviewed and approved by the state, as well as the expenditure and revenues from fiscal year 25 and 26. And the proposed land manage agreement is enclosed as well after the memo that was included.
Okay, any questions before we go into a vote? Nope. So for tonight, it's the land management agreement that we have to vote on?
Correct.
Okay.
Which would include the proposed fees as
Yep.
well.
Does anyone want to make a motion for discussion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for passage.
Okay,
I'll second it.
second, all right. Now we'll open it for discussion. Jason,
I'm good.
you're good? Okay. Steve?
No, I don't have anything. I would just say, we should figure out how we're gonna do that daily thing and probably factor in that we probably need some signage down there about that.
Right.
Other than that, I'm good.
Ed, did you have any discussion
all
on
set.
this? Okay, great. All right, with that, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Next up, we have Community Engagement Analytics, quarterly update and review of community engagement metrics and outreach activities. The town administrator did provide us with slides with these metrics, but I'm going to ask Rebecca to walk us through the presentation and get some feedback from us.
All right, so every time I do this, I tend to take a different approach just because it's interesting to see what the data is showing and the different trends that are becoming more apparent as we collect more data. So with the first slide, we're going to take a look at the website. So at a glance for the website from June to August, we have 8,600 active users, we have 30,000 page views, and we have 8,413 Google searches and 744 identifiable Groveland users. And the average session duration is 1 minute and 8 seconds. So the website continues to attract significant traffic and serves as an important entry point for residents who are looking for municipal information. So website traffic over time, we are seeing a small dip from the April to June but the website continues to have an active user of approximately 30,000 page views every 2 months. So how people find the town. So as we discussed, 8,413 people are using Google search. 4,163 are direct traffic, so they're directly putting in our website address, and 655 are Facebook referrals. So the strongest pathway to the town is through searchable web content and Facebook referrals. So who is using the website? So the Groveland remains the largest of identifiable local audiences, but the website is also being used for others among the region. And the way that this is set is through the IP address information. So what people are looking at. So trash and recycling is the largest. As we are aware, we have been changing the program, so many people are checking out the website to learn more. The pay online function is also a crucial asset for people who are looking to make convenient payments online. Some of the employment opportunities that we've had recently have attracted some individuals, and as well, you'll see again, the trash and recycling and the pay online are duplicated, and the reason that is that they're two separate pages that people are visiting to get to the information. So we are taking that feedback back, trying to eliminate the duplication and trying to put it as a one-stop shop. So that is a good takeaway for us moving forward. So for this specific criteria, we were looking at people who are actually using the contact town hall form to see exactly what people were contacting us for. And as you'll see again, the trash and recycling was the biggest, the highway department and potholes, pavement, things of that nature, the town clerk, the town administrator's office, inspectional services, and the housing authority. So for social media, we'll first start with Facebook. So the highest number of views was during the June and August period with more than 123,000 views. Approximately 70% of the audience was from Groveland, while more than half of the reach came from people who do not follow the town's page. The top performing post was in regards to the recycling dumpster here at Town Hall with 7,855 views. So for Instagram, as we had discussed at our last meeting, has a smaller overall audience than Facebook, but continues to generate engagement with the town's existing followers. During June to August, the account generated 9,940 views and 233 interactions, with the majority of views and interactions coming from the current following base. So a similar recap as we discussed at the last meeting, Facebook is currently the town's stronger platform for broad community reach, including residents and non-followers, while Instagram provides a more concentrated channel for engaging in the town's existing followers. Together, the website and social media analytics give us a better picture of how residents receive and interact with the town information. So moving on to departments. First up, we have the Board of Assessors. This is the first time that the Board of Assessors has participated, so this is just the first period that they've reported. So for in-person visits, they had 31 exemptions 25 abatements, and 6 requests for a butter list. For the town clerk, I separated it into 3 different sections. So we have the in-person services. Dog licenses was a big shift and a good example of why quarter-to-quarter numbers need context. So the large decline doesn't mean that there's a declining demand. It reflects the timing of annual licensing cycle. The oath of office increased substantially. As we're all aware, we just made the significant appointments, so it went from 4 to 21 to 30. For the online services, public records requests are the largest category of online activity with 29 requests during the period. Birth certificate requests were the next highest with 11. And then I also, for this breakout, included the election and civic participation. So again, with the upcoming election, you'll see that the vote by mail ballots that were mailed, as well as the vote by mail ballots received and processed in regards to new voter registration and nomination papers that were issued and returned. So it's been very busy in the clerk's office. For the Board of Health, we're seeing a significant increase in activity, specifically in the realm of trash and recycling and Title V septic permits. So in April and June, we saw 68 permits, and now we're up to 93. And with trash and recycling, again, a jump from 27 to 111 interactions with residents who are either calling about a card or the new program or additional information.
Can I ask a question on this one? How are they doing okay keeping up with all of this? Because the Board of Health is a small group, right? And weren't there some adjustment in hours?
Correct. As part of our attempt to provide additional feedback to the board as a recap as to the program rollout, we are closely monitoring the trash and recycling. So anytime somebody calls about whether or not there's just a general complaint or question, we're trying to track that. So it is one individual in the trash and recycling, the Board of Health. Elise, she does a fantastic job, but Annie and myself also help field those calls. But yes, those are the calls that just came into the Board of Health in regards to that particular issue.
Well, thanks to Elise. Special thank you to her.
Question? On a Title V, the septic, 93, is there a breakdown of inspections for houses for sale as opposed to houses that are updating their septic system?
I'm sure I can get that information. It was just lumped into one category when it was submitted to me by the Board of Health.
Well, what I'm looking at is, there's 93 of them in June, July, and August. That seems like an awful lot. And I see a lot of houses in town for sale, so it seems like probably a lot of them are related to that. And I just wondered if we could get that. It might give us an idea of how many people are vacating the premises.
No, I think that would be great. I can definitely get that information and share it with the board. Inspectional services at a glance, this is just a total from the reporting that started back in January. So he has issued, being the building inspector, 383 permits, permit value at $6.4 million. Fees that have been paid to the town, $83,687. Inspections performed, 415, and a list of emails received, sent, and calls. And what I found particularly interesting about the inspectional services is the enforcement and activity for the current reporting. So 7 inspections performed, 2 animal quarantines, 6 annual inspections, which would make sense for the June timeframe, 50 permits issued, and 2 new change of addresses.
So that's
In
another.
addition to that is the breakdown between the building activity and the construction value. So I took the permits that were issued per month and also aligned it with the permit value to see exactly the activity and the value of the permits throughout the year. So in July, again, those 50 permits, the value of such is $1.1 million. So it's quite substantial in regards to what we're dealing with. So the presentation in your packet does have one amendment. I received the COA engagement analytics, so the next two slides are not included, but will be updated and put online with the packet for the public to view. So for the Council on Aging, overall engagement remains consistently high with monthly touch points ranging from approximately 1,275 to 1,566. I think the other really interesting thing is the wellness activity has increased significantly from 263 touch points in December to 455 in July. And the administrative activity increased sharply in June and July, reaching 268 touch points in July, the highest level recorded. So based on the individuals served and the engagement intensity, the number of unduplicated individuals served has remained relatively stable, ranging from 232 to 249 per month. July included 238 unduplicated individuals and 1,549 total interactions. So this is essentially saying that approximately 6.5 interactions per individual in July. So what we're seeing is that we may not have an increased demand in terms of newer individuals utilizing the services, but the individuals who are using them across multiple levels, which is also a really interesting fact. So for the executive coordinator, we have contacts with just general residents by phone, business contacts, business partners, non-residential contacts, realtor contacts, and in-person just drop-ins to say hello and just kind of see what's going on in and around town. Some of the topics that they're looking for, just general questions. Again, what's happening? What are the delineators out front? When's the next trash pickup? Just regular trash questions, cards, programming, transfers. Again, the executive coordinator handles the main phone line. So if you call that line and you're looking for the town clerk, she would be the one to transfer you. Development inquiries in regards to potential developments for maybe land that's for sale. Permitting and licensing, and again, the walk-ins with no request, just to say hello and see what's going on. So one of the newer factors that were included, and I'm still learning a lot more about how these analytics present themselves for this particular segment, is the YouTube channel and figuring out exactly what people are doing when they're looking at the videos. So again, with our setup, most of our meetings are recorded. So you're talking select board, finance board, recreation, conservation commission, council on aging. People are watching, so they are watching the meetings. They're also watching community events, those that have been recorded, the 175th parade, some of the band concerts and graduation ceremonies. They're also watching older meetings and annual events. So some of our older town meetings, we're seeing people view those. And so it really kind of, the driving factor seems to be the topics and what people are interested in at that particular point in time. What I thought was really interesting is that the most views on the most recent list was from the Recreation Committee on June 4th with 1,714 views. That has since grown up to 2,000, which I thought was really interesting. One of the other interesting facts is that it had 13,536 impressions. And so in doing some of the research, trying to figure out what that kind of means and what it shows us is essentially is like the thumbnail. So how many times people interacted with the thumbnail that shows that Recreation Committee meeting. And it also has a click-through rate, which they call the CTR. So the percentage of viewers who chose to watch the video after seeing the thumbnail. So all of that was relatively high for this one particular meeting. So I was curious and I did watch, and they did talk a little bit about field use permits and how people were using fields. So I thought maybe that might have been the reason for the interest. I have to admit I didn't watch the entire meeting, but when I was kind of scanning through, that seemed to be one of their more lengthier topics on their agenda. So that was interesting. And then the other thing that was interesting is watching the duration. Not many people are watching those videos for very long. The ones that tracked the highest were the Select Board's June 22nd meeting. People tended to watch for about 28 minutes of the meeting. The one that came in second was the Conservation Commission's July 8th meeting at about 28 minutes again. So again, it's interesting to see how long people are sticking on or if they're searching for specific content. And then, again, the highest click-through rate is the Finance Committee's July 8th meeting, which was a very short meeting. So again, very interesting to see what people are tuning into. But during my research, it's very interesting to see how you use all of these factors together to figure out what the information is telling you. So you can't just look at which video was the most viewed to get a really good understanding of what people are looking for. You have to kind of look at all three of those categories. So I'm still trying to get a better understanding, and so I'm trying to break it down as to, inform myself. So why does it matter? Like, what does this mean? So again, I think that the general findings is that the government content has an engaged audience. People are watching these meetings. They are tuning in. They are looking for information. The community contact expands our reach. It's not just those who are looking or live in Groveland. There's one of the programs, it's called Studio 2, and I, again, had to reach out to our cable manager, Chris LaCory. I'm like, what is Studio 2? I can't find it. And it's actually a recording of a cover band playing Beatles music that one of our former technicians had taped a while ago. But it's still being watched today, and people are still looking for it. So that was interesting. That timely topics drive significant interest. So again, taking a look at the Recreation Committee and those topics and seeing exactly what ignited all of that interest. And the long-term value. So as we said with the Studio 2, there's archive content. There's there's older town meetings that were recorded that can provide that historic value and recap some of those meetings. And again, going back is that the views aren't the whole story. There's more to it. How many times are you clicking? How many times are you watching it? What content are you scrolling through to get to what you are actively seeking? So it's been a little bit of a rabbit hole as I kind of get into this a little bit further, but it's been very interesting. So I think that from an all-encompassing picture, we're doing fairly good in terms of using our tools and resources available to us through either social media and getting people information, or through our YouTube channel and getting meetings out there. I think we can do a little bit more in terms of trying to use those platforms across each other. So using Facebook to promote the Facebook, using the YouTube, like Facebook to promote the YouTube channel. So like if we had something that we're talking about the boat ramp, and it's like, oh, interested in the boat ramp, the select board just did A or B, like watch here, and something like that, and kind of use them to kind of ignite interest on the different platforms. And also, again, try and embed some of the YouTube content on our Facebook, on our website, if there's a specific issue or if there's something that we're talking about. Like, for example, we're talking a lot about 46 Washington Street and the project that we have going on with our consultant. So if there was their most recent, and it's included as part of your correspondence, they're going to be giving a presentation to the Historic Commission, like embedding that video potentially on that project page so they can see like the latest update. So there's ways for us to, again, then promote these videos or promote these resources, or use Facebook to get people who are interested in certain topics to the information that they're interested in. So again, I think that we're progressing in the right direction, and it's fun to watch all this data come together and kind of see what it shows you.
Great. Any questions or comments for Rebecca on the metrics?
I think they look great. I think along the lines of what you were just saying around using one to promote the other, it might be something to consider trying, and maybe once a week or something like that, is putting a Facebook post up that has all of the meeting links that were posted that week on YouTube. I'd be curious to see what that does to some of the engagement. Something like that might be an interesting exercise to try.
That's a great idea.
Anyone else?
The question, can you tell how many are viewing from out of town?
Not from the YouTube. On some of the others, it's designated by the IP address, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a resident. It's just based upon what browser, like their phone, if they're using the phone or if their computer. So it can kind of pinpoint the region, but it can't necessarily say if they're like specific to Groveland, unless it's identified as such on the IP address.
Okay, thank you.
And did you watch Studio 2 yet? Because I'm going to watch
I had
it today.
to see what it was
Yeah.
in order to figure it out, but it's very popular.
We just added to their statistics, so I expect to see that pretty ramped up in our next a next update. But this is
You
great.
had me at Beatles.
I know. But, and I'm really happy that you're taking this on to learn, because it's a big task to take care of all of this and to try to find the different ways that people communicate. So I'm really excited that you're excited to learn all this, because it's good for us to know, but I think it's very important for you to know, to just make the entire communication path easier for everybody. So I really appreciate the time you put into all of this, and into all the departments that help with this as well, too. I think it just gives a really good pulse of what's happening at Town Hall. And I think, for me, it makes me very grateful for the people we have here that, I see the volume, I see what's going on. So, thank you to everybody for working hard on this. All right. So next up, we have appointments and resignations. So the first one is for Joseph Forte, a resignation from the Water and Sewer Commission.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Joseph Forte from the Water and Sewer Commission effective August 6th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? None? All right, all in favor?
Yep.
4 in favor, 1 absent. And then we have an appointment of Brian Canizaro. Okay, thank you. To the Water and Sewer Commission.
I'll
Was here to
make a
answer any
motion, move for
questions.
passage.
Okay,
Second.
all right, any discussion? None? All right, all in favor. 4 in favor, 1 absent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian, we
Thank-
appreciate it. Thank you for your
Thank you for
involvement.
stepping up.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, approval of the minutes, there's none. Old or unfinished business, there's nothing listed. Other items not reasonably anticipated at the time of posting? Nothing. Next, we have select board member reports. So this is your external representation. So this would be the Whittier RAC. I don't know if there's anything new there. Or there is?
No.
Okay. Community Preservation Committee for you, Ed, is there anything
No,
new to report?
I gave that report the last meeting.
Great. VZ Park and Conservation Commission meeting, that was with you, Steve?
Yep, so I met with the Conservation Commission this afternoon. We kind of went through some of the document that we had reviewed at our last meeting. I'm going to send that out to the select board before our next meeting, and I think they're going to discuss it at their next meeting as well, with the goal of hopefully coming together on something we can agree on. We are going to still have a meeting with the town administrator and town council as the board voted. That's not going to happen until mid-September, just based on some scheduling conflicts, vacations, things like that. But I'm looking forward to that as well. But all in all, making some progress.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we have town administrator's time. We're going quick today, Rebecca. I know you weren't ready,
Lots of different screens.
right?
So a couple of administrative updates for performance evaluations. The majority of performance evaluations have been completed, and I did want to thank all of the employees for their participation and thoughtful engagement. I understand that evaluations are not always a fun thing to do, and they're very much dreaded by the employees as well as the employer. But at the same time, I do appreciate everybody's dedication and hard work and their participation. I also did want to inform the board that I will be pursuing a department assessment for the Council on Aging. It has come to our attention that there's been some additional conversations about the structure of the organization, the capacity, the operation, workplace environment, as well as with the upcoming transition to a new director. So we have been developing a scope of services for an independent consultant to come in and provide an objective review and make recommendations for improvements. And I have been working with the Council on Aging Chair in regards to this specific issue. Also, just to make sure that you're all aware of the current vacancies that we have. So we did have one of our highway laborers give their notice. They are actually going to be moving out of Groveland and moving to Florida. So that is the reason, but they are anticipated to vacate the position on September 8th. We have posted the job on our website as well as the MMA and are actively searching for somebody with the qualifications to fill the position. As you're aware, the plumbing inspector, there is an immediate vacancy. We've also posted the position. We've received one application to date, and we're hoping that we'll receive more. As we just discussed, the COA director, the vacancy is anticipated September 30, so we do have some time. I have been working with the Council on Aging Subcommittee for personnel matters in regards to updating the job description and moving forward with posting that position. There will be a screening committee for that particular position and a process. And again, as you'll note, we did update the bylaw. That will also mean that in addition to the Council on Aging making a recommendation, it also requires my approval as well. So again, we're looking at a collaborative approach to make sure that we're all on the same page. As you're aware, the health agent, that position is still vacant and under the purview of the Board of Health, so they continue to seek somebody for that particular position. The police lieutenant, an independent assessment center has been hired, and the assessment process is currently underway, and we will hopefully have that position filled. I believe the goal is by the end of the week, if not the beginning of next week, which will be great because then we'll have a full police department. And as we're all aware, the interim fire chief, there's an immediate need. We did post the position. I have talked to the Fire Chiefs Association on getting that posted. We have 3 applications that have been received as of date. I'm going to be working with Deputy Chief Briscoe as he had offered in regards to interviewing for that, as well as the police chief who had participated as part of the fire chief's hiring. This is not going to be a full panel. When we go through the process of hiring a full fire chief, it will be a full panel. The select board will be very involved. But with the interim, we had assumed something smaller would be better and more streamlined in trying to get that position filled as soon as possible. Some facilities updates. At the Central Fire Station, we were made aware of a potential leak in the watch office. There was several ceiling tiles that had been stained, so the town conducted an internal investigation, and it was determined that there's no active leak, but there was a past leak from a previous incident. So out of an abundance of caution, we did contact an environmental consultant to conduct testing of the area, and the testing confirmed that there are no hazards and that the air quality was in normal ranges. They did make some recommendations. Like many of our buildings, it was built in the 1950s, so there's carpeting that shouldn't be there. There's some tiling in the ceiling that needs to be replaced. So we will be proactive in regards to removing the flooring and replacing it with tile. It really shouldn't be carpet anyway, just due to their working environment. Coming in from fires and incidents, they really shouldn't be walking on carpet. And then we'll be, again, looking at cleaning the HVAC system. We do clean the filters annually, but we don't necessarily dismantle the system and clean every part. That was actually something that was done during the pandemic, so it was done within the last few years, but it has been a little while, so we are going to also be performing that cleaning as well. Other facility updates, I just wanted to let you know that the Town Hall roofing project has been advertised for bid, and the bids are due August 27th. As previously discussed, we are anticipating construction to begin as soon as late September, and we hope that the project will actually be completed by the end of December of this year. It is a very quick turnaround. We are very hopeful that we will be able to remain on schedule. I know that there's a couple of departments that are a little concerned about the potential impact and noise during the day, specifically over at the library. So as soon as we have more information and a contractor is selected, we can work with them to try and minimize the impact to any of the offices, either here, the library, or over at the police department. And then some other capital project updates to let you know that the mower and pickup have been procured, tasers have been procured, servers have been procured but not yet installed. The cruiser has been procured. There is a 6-month lead time, if not longer, on the cruiser, unfortunately. The camera upgrades are currently underway. You will be seeing a pole that's going to be placed over at the Pines Recreation area behind the baseball field that will be pointed in the direction of the skate park to add additional level of security in that area. And then also we just received the certificate that another classroom successfully had asbestos removal over at the Bagnell Elementary School. my slides got deleted. It was a really good one, so.
Was it? Did you hide it by accident?
It was one of the, it was a really good one with the update on the Bagnell School. The entryway with pretty
Oh,
photos,
oh.
with the entryway with the striping and
Yep.
the
The before and afters, a video, a testimonial.
I was gonna say,
Probably in the same place as that email I canceled.
It must be. Technology is just eating things.
that stinks.
AI conspiracy.
I will at least pull up the photo so you can see that, because there's been significant progress. So I do want to show you, if you haven't already seen. All right, so. Share. So that's one view looking at the school and the roundabout area. And then if you're looking down, again, the striping and the pavement, as well as the sidewalk improvements, which are a huge improvement based upon what was there originally. So that's really exciting. And then again, to show you how it now has safe passageway from the sidewalk coming into the school all the way into the entryway. So we're very excited that that project is almost completed. There are a couple of items remaining, some punch list items, so hopefully they'll be wrapping those up. But everything, as you can see, is basically completed and ready for the school year. So we're really excited about that. And then to go back. Some of the standard information that I just like to share with you all to make sure that you're up to date in regards to what's going on. Apparently, we're going back to the beginning. Some upcoming events and meetings. The Housing Authority is meeting today as well. The Merrimack Valley Workforce Board meeting is tomorrow. Planning Board is meeting tomorrow, and the Council on Aging Board is also meeting on August 19th. There's been no issuance of any field use permits in the last 2 weeks. From a procurement standpoint, we submitted authorization for the fiscal year 26 audit. Like I had mentioned at our last meeting, they are prepared to do begin their audit remotely this month. We also signed a contract for the fiscal year 27 Merrimack Valley Planning Commission Stormwater Mobile application, as well as the pictometry application. Projects in progress haven't changed since the last time we met. We're still working on a couple of things. Hopefully, we'll be meeting shortly with the IT working group and going over some cybersecurity policies that have started to be drafted. Projects in progress, again, remain the same. Unfortunately, again, we have a couple of grants that are pending. We're hoping that we can remove those and say that we've been awarded instead of seeing the big red denied. I still wanted to keep the dams and seawall, Salem Street and Pleasure Pond Dam on there. We are looking for another alternative funding source. We believe we may have found one, so we may be submitting an application through that program. So I just wanted to keep that on the radar and keep that there. And then a list of meetings, events, and seminars that I've attended within the last 2 weeks. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, any questions or comments for Rebecca on her update? You got something?
I just have one question. Going back to your first slide, you said you had finished up the performance evaluations. I think when we talked about it last year, you were maybe using a different process or form this year. I was just curious how that went since they're completed now.
It was very well received. I think a lot of people like the ability of having an opportunity to not see the 1 through 5 and to see the either needs improvement, exceeds, or meets expectations. So I think that the conversations have been drastically better than they have in the past, especially with that new rating system. The self-evaluation has also been, again, very well received. So I think overall, again, the process is been a substantial improvement over what we had previously.
That's great.
Ed, any?
I know I'm all set.
Nothing? Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. Next up, we have Select Board time. Ed, do you have anything for today?
I don't have anything.
Steve?
Just one more thing. That section of sidewalk on School Street that's broken, do we have a timeline of when that's gonna be fixed? It's kind of just past Bagnell, heading towards the town. There's been a cone on it for probably 3 weeks now, maybe a month.
I'm not sure. The highway superintendent is on vacation, so I would need to check in with him and see exactly what the status is. I do know that there was something originally when he was in the last time talking about National Grid and that
Yeah.
were going to be doing some work to improve it because it was at a trench or something that they had dug for a service line. But I don't have an update, so I'd have to wait till he returns.
Yeah, just figuring with school starting in a few weeks, that's a path that walkers take, so we should probably try to get that fixed before then.
Of course, I'll reach out to Bill Green in the interim and see if he has any information to share.
Thank you.
Jason? Any Select Board?
Yes, I'd like very much to thank Rebecca and Annie for doing the trash can pickup. It was really great of them and the way that they did it, and to give up their Saturday at no additional expense to the town is something that you don't find a lot of employees willing to do. I think it shows their dedication to the town and to the town's goal of saving the residents taxpayer money. So I'd like to thank them both. We filled up 3 containers with old trash cans, so it was a tremendous amount of work. So thank them both.
And I would like to thank you, because I know you were there.
Yeah, but I'm a select board member, so
Yeah,
I get paid.
you get a little bit of glory as well, too. I saw, it was a very hot day, and I saw you out there also helping, so appreciation to you as well for doing that, because I didn't stay. I admit it.
I also did not.
Yes, so thank you for helping, but yes, that was, I guess, a very successful event. All right, so finally, we have some correspondence included in our packets. One is the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission Notice of Suspension and Decision for Route 97 Liquors from July 28th, 2026. And second in our packet is the Historical Commission presentation from Inez Land Strategies Group regarding 46 Washington Street. So our next scheduled meeting of the Select Board will be Monday, August 31st at 6:30, and we have concluded our agenda for August 17th. May I have a motion to close the meeting at 7:22 PM?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you, everybody.